The EFL returns this weekend as football's craziest and most competitive league brings the action on Friday night. So, with a full preview, here I am saying who I think would go up, who the surprise packages might be, and who might be in trouble. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here, myself, Charlie. And before the video starts, to please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Yeah, I saw an article today. There's been a lot come out about the Championship. Third highest attended league in Europe. I think 1 in 8 players at the World Cup, or 1 in 9 players had a stint in the EFL. The strength of the biggest pyramid is something that I think is something we should celebrate. I think we do celebrate it, but sometimes we're guilty of not talking about it enough. It's fantastic. Yes, I'm under no illusions. There is a lot of financial sort of reasons for that, but also I think that the fandom is something that deserves a huge amount of celebration. I'm going to talk about the Championship because I think, as always, it's just a mental league. There's no other word for it. The last few years, it's become maybe slightly more predictable. I think the parachute payments are having a bigger effect on things, which I'll talk about. But I still think with the extended playoff system this year, a lot of clubs have shown a lot of ambition. I think that there's some clubs that I really like the look of, some clubs that also I'm not too sure about. I think firstly to start off with is the 3 relegated clubs. I mean, West Ham, the securing of Jarrod Bowen is absolutely fantastic. Yes, they've lost Fernandez and Somerville, but I think that money will be spent. It looks like Engels is going to be on the way, the lad from Celtic. That'll be interesting to see how he does. He's a player who at times I think is flattered to deceive at Celtic. There's no doubt there's quality there, but in a physical league like the Championship, not too dissimilar to Scotland, although I think the quality is slightly higher than the Championship. Controversial, but week in, week out, I think that's the case. It'll be intriguing to see how he does for 22 million. There's also talk that they are interested in Troy Parrott. Jamie Vardy is also doing the rounds. I think definitely they want to get another striker in the door. I watched West Ham in pre-season against Rangers at Ibrox. I've got to say, one of the players I think will be key for them this year is Tati Castellanos. I think he's got loads of goals in him. And I think it sounds so obvious, but in the Championship, you do need a goal scorer. Because when you go back to, Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and whatever, all that busy Christmas period where it feels like they play every other day, you need someone who's just going to grab one for a 1-0, and I think they might have one in him. I do think West Ham are definitely one of the favourites to go up. Wolves as well, they've had a bit of a chaotic summer. Obviously the sacking of Edwards, bringing in, I'm going to mispronounce his name, is Klink, I'll get used to it. But they've brought in Trippier and Raul Jimenez. Again, experience. It's what you need in the Championship. And by all means as well, with Mateus Mano, who I thought would be on the move, the Wolves winger. He could still go on the move. But I think that's great as well, keeping him. He was one of the few bright spots last year in the Premier League for them. I think they're a very interesting proposition. And by all accounts, and from some of the clips I've seen in pre-season, they're a very impressive club. I can see both of those sides, West Ham and Wolves, coming straight back up. For Burnley, it was a really weird hunt for a manager. We thought it was going to be Craig Bellamy. Then it wasn't Craig Bellamy. In the end, it's Nicky Halem. I think there's been big losses for them. The likes of Jane Anthony, Florentino Luis as well has gone on the move. They're going to have to invest. But they've had a habit of this, really, haven't they? Of losing players, they regenerate and they go back up. I just think this year's a slightly more competitive league for them. As for other hopefuls, well, Southampton, Spygate, they're going to be booed, I think, everywhere they go. They're going to get some brilliant chants and some fancy dress and whatever. I think they will be... The loss of Shea Charles is massive for them going to Fulham. Middlesbrough have splashed the cash, especially on Will Lancashire and Seb Berhalter, who I thought was fantastic in the game against Wrexham on Friday. Them two, I think, will be important. They've always got, with Kim Hjelberg, who I think is a really good manager tactically. They've got a chance. I think they'll definitely be in the mix at the end of the year. As for surprise packages, I think there's a couple that I've sort of looked at. I'm not going to go through team by team because I think it's probably a little bit too long. I think Swansea have got potential. Elijah Just from Motherwell, I think, is a really interesting piece of business, as is Apoku. I also like the Ross Stewart signing. If they can keep him fit, I think he's got goals in him. And I think that's an interesting piece of business. They've got quite the Scottish contingent growing actually down at Swansea. I think, like I say, if they can keep him fit, he could be a really important player for them. Like I said about Castellanos, grabbing goals, big physical centre-half as well. If you're in the centre-forward, sorry, not centre-half. If you can bring the ball up to him, he'll bring it down. He'll release the pressure. Another team, and I might be saying this with my Rangers hat on as well, that I think have got a chance is Norwich. I think they could be really exciting attack this year. Mo Toure is a player that really has impressed for them already. He's impressed for the Australian national team. They were really good at the weekend against MK Dons as well in the EFL Cup. I think they're a team, if Clement can get them clicking, who I think as well could be in the hunt for the playoff places. Obviously, there's the storylines with Wrexham and Birmingham. There always is, these big American owners. Wrexham bringing in Anthony Patterson's a big move. I've got to say, though, I think both those managers, Phil Parkinson and Chris Davis, I could see maybe being out of a job by, I don't know, October, November. I think the pressure is on for them to deliver, especially with the money that's being spent at both those clubs. As for strugglers, I think Bolton, although it's fantastic to see them back in the Championship, they need Dolby to fire. And if they don't, then I think they could be in a spot of bother. I think as well, Charlton, although Carlin Grant, again, I always say the importance of strikers in the Championship, I just think they're a side that maybe lacks quality in other areas, and well, maybe the beneficiaries last year of it being quite a poor bottom three. As well, QPR had a horrendous end of season, but I quite like their business, and I was going to throw them in the surprise category. I like the Tariq Lamptey signing, and I also really like Glenn Kamara. Again, from a Rangers point of view, I loved him for Rangers. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I know he's had spells here, there, and everywhere a little bit, but if they can get him on form, I think he will suit Championship football down to a T. So I just think they could. I'll throw them in the surprise package as well. Preston are a weird side. I always think with Preston, you think, oh, could they go down? And they just go mid-table. The Alfie Devine side is really good for them, actually, and I think shows a little bit of ambition. But they're a side, like I say, I can't quite make my mind up on. I think they might be down there, though, this year. But like I say, they just have a habit of just ticking over and just sitting. Sheffield United as well, that Hamer loss is massive, I think. They've got to bring in replacements, but they have got Cannon and Bamford up front, which, again, is firepower. Like I say, it's such an evenly matched league. It's so hard to predict who's going to go down and who's going to go up. But I think it's going to be a really exciting league. I think that extended playoffs is going to be really interesting to see how that works out as well. Lots of big-name players down there as well. So hopefully we'll see plenty of goals. Hopefully we'll see plenty of throws. We always do the Championship. It always is. And it's a season that I'm looking forward to getting my teeth stuck into. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. As I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. As always, have a great day.